Ladies and gentlemen, we don't have enough time. We don't have till 2063. We might not even have until 2030. A very big thank you to Professor Madonsela, who has really set the tone for our next session by raising some of the red flags that we need to think about quite deliberately as we prepare ourselves not for the fourth, but for the fifth industrial revolution. Ladies and gentlemen, before I introduce the innovators, the young people who are knee-deep in these technologies, let's take a quick poll question. So I'm going to reflect the question up on screen, and if I may ask you to very quickly whip out your cell phones again, get into Slido. Technical team, thank you very much. Here is the question. What is the future of African education? Given what we've just heard from the prof, what is the future of African education? Is it robotics? Is it artificial intelligence? Is it augmented reality? Or is it virtual reality? Do we know the difference between the four options? I think is a very good question as well. But what we're seeing here is artificial intelligence far, far ahead. I'm going to pause on that and I'll come back to this talking point in a moment. Thank you very much, technical team. Ladies and gentlemen, when I started this afternoon, I spoke about the future being in the room with us. I'd like to call onto stage innovators who are invested in the future and are reimagining education. I'd like to join me up on stage, Ntato Mwachi. Prof, you'll be happy to learn that Ntato is the founder and he calls himself the chief evangelist of a coding and robotics outfit called Crisp Design. Please come up, Tato. And we'll hear a little bit from him in a second what Crisp Design does, but essentially they're integrating robotics as well as coding into the curricula that we see in everyday classrooms. Then, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask Candace Kern-Thomas to join me. Candace is the owner and director of Melisiwe School Computer Lab project. This is a project, ladies and gentlemen, that seeks to ensure that there is a computer lab in each and every school in South Africa. And again, I'm sure as Candace was listening to the prof, the questions around procurement and the sourcing of those computers became front and center for her. She's nodding, so that's good. So we'll have a quick conversation about that. Ladies and gentlemen, Mbangiso Mabaso is the founder of Sisanda Tech. And this, prof, is a gaming technology. We're using gaming tech and gaming innovations. Oh, I thought that was him. Gaming tech and gaming innovations, they are really changing the school experience and impacting curriculum. Welcome. Thank you so much, Mbangiso. Prof, you'll also be happy to know that we have someone by the name of Johan Kok who's going to join us up on stage as well. And Johan is founder of what we call engineering in a box. So this is a mobile solution that allows engineering skills to become increasingly accessible to all learners, irrespective of where they are. And so those prohibitive entry barriers seem to fall away. And we'll hear about that in a second. We also have Zahira Pochi. Zahira comes from iSchool Africa, and this is a solution, Prof, that is focused on digital special needs learning. Essentially, what you're seeing is a bridging of the gap or the divide that exists between rural and urban experiences of education. And last, ladies and gentlemen, but not least, is Tinashe Shongwe from EvoLearn. This is an online platform. Tinashe is the executive chair, and this is a platform that builds online and offline content to become freely available to learners irrespective of where they are. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to keep this panel extremely short, but before we start, I'd like us just to give them a round of applause for investing in the future. Thank you very much. So we're going to keep this panel extremely short. I'm going to come to Ntato and Candace in a second, but if we just whip around and just get a quick one-liner. If this was Dragon's Den, and you just had to get that 5 million rand, is that what the gentleman asked for 2 weeks ago? 5 million, right? 5 million rand. just whip around, what problem are you solving? How are you disrupting and redefining education? And I'm going to start right next to me here, and I'm going to work my way that way. In one sentence. Can we borrow the microphone? Candice, thank you so much. Perfect.
Thank you so much. In one sentence, Evolen is there to, number one, early identification of talent, and number two, early industry skilling from the ages of 3 going up.
How does this change the landscape of education in Africa? If you had all the resources that you could ever want, what change are you bringing onto the continent in the context of education?
Our basis is based on the fact that our education system recognizes number 1 to 10 in a class of 40. Us as Evolen, we believe the 40, each and everyone has a talent. Our responsibility is to identify the talent, nurture the talent, and launch the talent.
Ladies and gentlemen, 5 million rand? Yes? Okay, fantastic. All right, thank you very much. Let's move on. In a sentence, how are you disrupting education on the continent?
By providing inclusive solutions to children with disabilities so that they can have equal opportunities in the learning environment.
Sure. Ladies and gentlemen, equal opportunities for children with disabilities, irrespective of where they are. And if you had 5 million rand or more, what could you do that would fundamentally change the landscape of education in Africa?
I think we would be providing opportunities for children to learn regardless of ability so that they can all reach their potential.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. 5 million rand is a nod. Amasi, I need some sort of fund to make sure that I meet all the promises that I'm making on stage here tonight. All right? I can't be held to this. All right. Johan, very quickly, sentence. How are you disrupting education?
2 sentences.
2 sentences. Let's go for it.
There's 8,000 high schools in South Africa. Only 4% of them teaches electrical and electronic engineering. Our solution enables normal schools to teach those engineering subjects without requiring a technical teacher or a practical lab.
Ladies and gentlemen, 5 million rands for sure. Thank you very much. Please go ahead.
From Sisanda Tech, the only thing that we would like to make is to make sure that everyone could experiment anytime, anyway. If we're going to go for the 4th industrial revolution, we need to have platform for experimentation and everything.
And of course, Sisanda Tech is the base is on game theory, right?
Yeah, our approach is more on games because because most of the ideas that we have, they originate seeing how my nephews actually learn. So I've seen that they're into games, so I've been trying to teach them with games ever since I knew how to make games. So our approach is using augmented reality just to make sure that there's no need to buy the full or build the state of the art if we can just do it with an app.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, when we asked the question, 5 million rand, I think everybody's clapping just to make sure that I acknowledge that he must get his money. Okay, that's fine. But I think that's beautiful because one of the options that we had in that question was exactly that. And you are already bringing augmented reality into the classroom. This is not something we're thinking about in 2030 or 2063. It's happening right now in 2018. And these are the young people who are making sure that it does happen. Let me come to you, Candice. In a sentence, for 5 million rand, how are you disrupting education?
We are ensuring that the learners have the infrastructure and the tools that they need so that they are able to be partakers and not consumers of the 4th Industrial Revolution.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we're moving from being consumers and end users, but to being active participants in the creation and dissemination of education. Thank you for that, Candice. Ntato, final word, final 5 million that's left in the bank. How are you disrupting education?
We're disrupting education by solving for a big problem. There's a lack of access to quality STEM resources that kids can use to actually learn science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And we want to do this by giving them affordable resources that equip them with one of the most important skills, which is a growth mindset.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Ntato. Ladies and gentlemen, the purpose of this session is not to belabor the point, but is to show that the very technologies that we're talking about are already a part of the learning and teaching experience in schools across the African continent, and that the young people that are sitting here, and I'll take the liberty of calling you all young, are actively investing in reimagining education. The beauty of this evening and the conversation that we're having is that they're here for the rest of the evening. And as we take our breaks and work through our program, please do engage with them, find out a little bit about what they're doing. And if there is a gap in your market, let's find a way of getting some of these solutions to become Pan-African solutions and not just solutions that sit in the South African context. May we please give them a final round of applause.